Hello everyone, welcome again. This video will show how to create, we'll start with the word create. How to change your user interface, change the theme, how to switch to a darker theme. So let's do that. Open Inkscape, and this is what you will get. So let's double click here to maximize this, and that's the first thing I want to change. Here in the edit, go to preferences, and here in the, let's close this too, interface, we open interface. By the way, if you select interface, you have the ability to change the language. I recommend you to switch this to English, because most of the tutorials are in English, I guess. I'm sure. And let's go to Windows, and here from default I want it to be maximized, so whenever I close Inkscape and reopen, it maximizes itself by default. If you want it to be maximized, depends on you. You have the ability to change shortcuts. I think the shortcuts that I'm using are already fine. So let's go to theme. I want to keep using user system theme, so let's use dark theme. So we are getting somewhere, but the icons are not what I'm looking for. So use symbolic icon. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. You can even use colored. Here, multicolors. It's also great. But I want to keep it simple. Anyways, you still have the ability to choose from here whatever you want and whenever you want. Toolbox icon, yeah, they are large. The control bar icon. Secondary toolbar icons, yeah, I want them to be a little larger. Icon in the menu. If I say no here when I open, well, it doesn't appear right now. I need to reopen. So let's close Inkscape and restart Inkscape. There you go. We have no icons in the menu. I prefer to have icons in the menu, so let's go to preferences. Here in the theme, again, I want to say yes, and when I close this, when I restart Inkscape, there we have the nice beautiful icons. Great. Yeah, this one's still black. Oh, that's just a small bug. That's fine. Preferences again, here in theme. As you can see, the icons are a little bit larger because they were smaller. They changed it to small. Now they are larger. I like this. Anyways, so I think this is it. Let's close this. Now we definitely don't want this to be white. It depends on you. So Ctrl+Shift+D to open the document properties, or go to File and Document Properties. Here, as you can see, the units, I like to change the pixels, but it depends on you. You probably want to use millimeters. You probably want to draw some visit cards or anything else, but I want to use pixels. If you change the pixels, because you want to have millimeter, we have the scale to 1. You change the pixels. I recommend you to change this to 1 so you don't have any issues while scaling and having some weird numbers popping up. For example, you move the object in the 0, 0 location in x-axis and y-axis, but then if you just scale the object a little bit, it will be 0.00001, and some weird stuff happens, and you don't want this to happen. So I recommend you to put this set this to 1. What about the background here? I want it to be a little bit dark gray. Well, this one looks good. If you set the checkerboard, I like to have this checkerboard. It allows me to see whether the object is transparent or not. Let's say I have a rectangle here. That's all I have. And let's say I added a gradient. So you can see it's easy to notice that the gradient color here has a transparent color. Yeah, that's good. Anyways, let's move on. Let's say you move this to white, but this does not update, so you have to check and recheck. Now you have a brighter checker. So I want you to keep this in mind. So it doesn't update, so we have uncheck and recheck. Great. I like to draw on a landscape paper or page and full HD. Yeah, I think this is it for now. Here you have the border. You can hide the border if you don't use it. Yeah, thinking of not using this. You can keep the border on top. Let's say you draw an object. The object is on top of the border. So you can select this. Now the border is on top of everything, which is reasonable. We can, as you can see, we have this shadow. And I don't like this color HSL, so we have the grayscale here. Make it brighter. Great. So this is it. Good. Now I never used this. You can keep it if you want to, but I just wanna remove this. These are called bars. I also don't use this much, but let's keep it. So here in view we can hide and show some bars. For example, this one here that I have, I never used it, so let's hide it. It's called commands bar. There you go. Perfect. Again, we have other bars like this palette here. So if I press, that's it. We have also this one. I never used it, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't take much space. Alright, this is very important. So mostly want to keep everything enabled. We have some of them have some shortcuts. Control R. I really recommend using the ruler. You can get some guides from it, so you can, let's say, draw a rectangle using these guides. Snaps to the guides, but you wanna enable snapping here. I'll make a tutorial on snapping system. This is very important. And let's say you want to snap to the border here, you have to enable this. Snap to the page border. There you go, it snaps very well. If you disable this, it does not snap to the guide. Yes, guide. Whoopsie. If you want to delete the guide, just hover over the guide, press the delete button. If you have too many guides, then you can go to the document properties, Ctrl+Shift+D, and here in the guides you can either show or hide or delete all guides. You can create guides around the border. That's also sweet. And you can also change the color of the guides. when you hover over the guide it turns red, and it's blue by default. I don't like this. Choose a bright blue, and yeah, that's good. You have the grid as well. The grid system is also good, and I probably need to do another video about the grid. View here, the page grid, very important again. 10 here, 10 here. Interesting. Visible. Yeah, there are many things you can do here. You can change the color of the border. I want it to be orange. These are the major lines, and we have the minor ones here, probably bright, or even a different color. This will work. Great. Yeah. We have snapping. When you have guides, it always, actually when you have grids, it always snaps. And I don't like this, I just want to snap whenever I'm close to the grid. And I also don't want this to be, I want the distance to be a little bit smaller. Impossible. Let's keep it 1.1 if possible. There you go. Maybe if I maximize this. Yeah, there you go. That's a cool hack. Alright, forget about this. You can check yourself. I will just skip this. Okay, let's hide the grid. Hover over this and press delete. You can also get some guides like this. It's very good. You can also hold hover and hold shift. Rotate this one. Hold control if you want to snap to an angle, specific angle. But this is for another tutorial. Here we are missing some huge things here. If you press F12, you can see things are changing here. It's a small line. But we first need to add some stuff. Add object, the layer system, add the fill and stroke. So you can, choose the color, fill color and stroke color. Can also add a line and distribute. This one is also important. Transform is also a very interesting thing. Path effect, very important, and filter effect. Filter editor, sorry. Alright, so these are good. But this one, whoops. I want to move this one here in the top and to try to put it in the center, like so. The same thing for this one here. As you can see, it's in the middle, not like so, not like so, and like this, but in the middle. In the middle. Perfect. Now I have all these overlapping each other, so whenever I select this, this will appear. Select this, select the layer system, select the fill and stroke thing. Can even move this outside by dragging from here, but I want to keep them all in the same place. So be sure you're grabbing from here, not from here, from the dark space, and release. Make this smaller. There you go. Probably wider. Perfect. So this is this is how I make the user interface look. I feel most I feel more comfortable using a dark theme and using all these things. But let's say you're used to, you were a Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator user, and you have this white thing here in the middle, and you feel more comfortable having something like this in the middle, then you can do so. Be sure you have the snapping, by the way, so you can snap to the border, page border. And here in the rectangle, be sure this one is selected. You cannot select it if this one is like so, even though you can't notice it. Select here and everything is fine. Don't have any rounded corners. Be sure it's white, and we are ready to go to save this. Actually, before, here in the objects, this is the layer system. You can add a new layer, call this page maybe. Probably change the color black. It does not update. This is a small bug, I guess, so let's change the transparency. No, let's make it full black. I'm not sure what this is for. Why do we need the transparency like so? What for? Maybe it could be useful. Okay. So we have this rectangle. Let's move to the page layer. There you go. This is the page. So let's close this. Close everything. Oh, in the layer. Move the layer down. And this is the layer that you will work with. You can draw anything on top. And you're unable to select the backside, the page. Great, so let's save everything by going to Save Template. Yep, call this anything and set as default template. Save. Close Inkscape. No, we don't need to save this. Close without saving. Reopen Inkscape. And there you go, everything is updated. Perfect. But this is really important to save the template. You will lose everything if you don't do this. So I think this is the tutorial number 0 for the tutorial series that I'm going to make. And just see if I remember anything else. I don't make this tutorial longer. I don't want to make it longer. So see you in the next tutorial.